Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
So yesterday, Politico ran a piece mourning the death of swagger in journalism. The writer, Jack Schaefer, laments that wounded and limping, doubting its own future, American journalism seems to be losing a quality that carried it through a century and a half of trials. It's swagger. Wounded and limping. Sounds like they're describing one of Chrissy Gnome's dogs. It doesn't end yet! But Earth to legacy media, you can stop crying now, it's over, and you lost bigly. You're less trusted than week-old tuna salad. Schaefer's point is that journalism has become too timid, but his real purpose seems to be a call to action for his fellow reporters to get tougher. Sorry, Brian Stelter can't even do a girl push-up. Now, Schaefer goes on to claim that there are a few approved journalists out there with swagger, but apparently his definition of swagger is writers who despise half the country because, of course, they're all either left or far left. The article is a bit like listening to your grandfather reminisce about the crazy days of his youth while walking around the old age home with the back of his hospital gown open. Or if we're talking Biden, the front. But the article cluelessly proves its own point. If Schaefer, a longtime media type around New York and D.C., set out to mourn the death of traditional journalism, he just wrote its epitaph. And on that gravestone, of course, would be a story about Russiagate. What traditional media missed today isn't swagger. Like Joe Biden's bowels, it's control. Strangely, all of the swaggering types that Schaefer cites from the good old days are the characters who would be drummed out of the first newsroom they applied to by people like Jack Schaefer. I'm talking about the hard-drinking, hard-charging, grizzled white dudes who are often abrasive, obnoxious, and politically incorrect. Think Lee Marvin, but with a typewriter. The kind of dinosaurs that founded the country but are now the world's designated Bond villain. If Ben Franklin were alive today, he'd be sitting in HR, lectured by a non-binary Karen because no women signed the Declaration of Independence. But what Schaefer's mad about is that the media are no longer seen as heroes. He writes, quote, thanks in part to a fall in status, as well as ever irrational attacks from politicians like Trump, today's journalists routinely experience ridicule and harassment at public events like rallies and demonstrations. True, they're like kill meat in high school. So let's get this straight. You sold it, poor Brian, she said. You sold us a years-long lie on Russian collusion. You tried to convince us that a laptop that was obviously genuine was fake. You're cheerleading the bogus lawfare against the leading presidential candidate. Now you're crying because Trump doesn't like you? Because the rest of us no longer genuflect? You're lucky we don't lock up your entire profession on a RICO charge. But Jack does have a point that today's mainstreamers are cowards. Here's former CNN reporter Michelle Kaczynski writing on X about a dinner she recently attended in Florida, which she claims still haunts her. Quote, all were well-educated and successful in careers. They seemed great on the surface for like an hour, but slowly over a few drinks, they began to let their true MAGA natures slip. Wait, were they polite? Did they pay the bill? Did they not burn down a police station? What gave them away? I bet someone called bull on our legacy media elitist conformity. Perhaps it was a little MAGA swagger, no? See, it's not about swagger at all. It's that someone has more swagger than them. Trump isn't living in the legacy media's heads. He's the landlord who keeps raising the rent. He's like a squatter the owners can't get rid of because he changed the locks. So the main thing Schaefer misses is that the direction of this doomed called journalism originated from the mentality of the grad schools and the groupthink that he coddled. The Schaefers of the world really want to see how their profession degraded. Look no further than the machine that churned out these clones. But Jack can't say that because he's one of them, which makes him a bystander to the decline. You're not some whistleblower here, Jack. You're just another cog in the machine. Then there's this little tell regarding what's really on this guy's mind. At the end, he adds, no, Fox News does not swagger. Sorry, have you seen Trace Gallagher? Huh? He's like James Dean mixed with a Dodge Charger. But Jack felt compelled to add that part because he knew that that would be the reaction, that there is swagger, but it's coming from all the places he and his buddies hate. So move over, Donald. You got company in their heads. In fact, there's plenty of us swaggering around in their tiny brains. Lucky for you, Jack, I don't take up much space.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Prosperity Playground. This is the place where we gather together to find out the real news. And hooray for Gutfeld. He's been awake for a long time. And he's been dropping them, him and his staff. If you don't watch Gutfeld, then you are missing some of the mainstream media who are awake. And he is one of them. His show is controversial. But I followed him since his Red Eye days. And I really like the information that he puts out because he brought comedy back to the mainstream media. I mean, as the other comedians were falling and, capitulating to what they were told to say and report, Gutfeld didn't. And so he's not only a brilliant journalist, he is also a very funny man. He has a great, keen sense of humor. And he actually did something with Roseanne Barr. So I just wanted to say, today's show is going to have, the mainstream media in it. We've got another one that we'll play in a bit. But first, I just want to say that thank you for everyone who watched the show on Tuesday. And we had hundreds of new followers and people from the UK. And we know we have our beautiful Canadian community watching and different parts of the United States. So this is a global, worldwide event. And most people that I am connected with and communicate with are awake, wide awake. They know what's going on. They know that this is the movie that has been pumped into us. And I just heard this morning that it was in 1983. I think it was 83. I could have that wrong. It could have been in the 70s. Either 72 or 82, 3, around there. That's when the CIA took over the channels of the mainstream news media. And so it makes a lot of sense because when you watch the mainstream media, most of the commercials are alcohol, drugs, the drugs, the drug pharmacy, big pharma. And so when you follow the money, you can see actually who's pulling the strings. And most of you, our viewers, are onto this. And so that's why the decodes are really important because, when Q started posting in October of 2017, that was the clue that there was a plan. And through the military codes, through the Q drops, people were following back then. I didn't discover Q until January of 2021. And yet, knowing that this is a 70-year plan to systematically take down mainstream media and all the other tentacles that we're dealing with, the health industry, the financial sector, all of that. So we're going to cover a little bit of everything today. And I want to wish every mother a happy Mother's Day coming up this weekend. There is nothing more important to me than having been a mother. I think it's a real gift and a real honor to have children and then grandchildren. And so many of you mothers out there are just waiting for this movie to end so that your children can join you in the joy of creating the new world together. Some of you have amazing children who will do brilliant things with their gifts that they learned growing up in your home. Others may be estranged, and those are really heartbreaking because of this um, multi-dimensional reality that we're living in with all these multiple psyops going on at one time. And then there are the mothers who've passed away and the grandmothers. And those women gave their best to us, the best that they knew. And they may have fallen short. And yet, what I learned was to bless and release the pain that our mothers went through so that we can open our hearts and accept them for who they are. Now, having said that, some mothers aren't very respectful. Imagine that. Some friends say, "Oh my gosh, my mother and I are best friends, and I just love being with my mother." Well, I love both my mothers, and I'm really looking forward to all of us reuniting with our families, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, anyone who has, felt the divide of consciousness, of truth, and of the love that is meant to be shared between one another. So, as we celebrate Mother's Day this week, and I really want to say that my prayer, my hopeful dream is that we will RV um, this weekend. Now, having said that, we're going to listen to some updates on the RV, and I'll make comments on that when we get to the segment. It is happening. It is happening. It is happening. It is happening. And there's too much evidence to show that it's not happening. So we're going to cover all that, and we have a big packed show and lots to share with you. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, for watching, and for following. When you click the like button, that really helps us to be in the search engines and to get more viewers. People are searching, and like we've been told, there could be like suddenly 50,000 newcomers into the alternative news because most of what we see in the alternative news is spot on. And you can follow the facts, follow the money, and you can find out that our governments that have been controlled by the central banks, which is most nations, we have 209 nations gathered together in the BRICS to denounce the United States fiat oil for war dollar. And we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve. And this is something my husband and I've been waiting for 35 years. So it's not new to me. That's the only reason I'm sitting here doing this rather than creating my work that I was doing prior to January 2021. Because I knew, it's just, we don't know why we're chosen to follow steps in our lives that bring us to this moment in time right now, this divine, precious moment of creativity, of awareness in who you are. When you know who you are, you don't need to listen to all the drama and gossip and negativity of those who are asleep. You trust yourself. You stand tall with what you know. That doesn't mean you're running around trying to tell everybody to believe what you believe. It's just not possible for people until, especially when they're so entrenched in the education system that has done nothing but keep our children and us when we were kids enslaved into a programmable education system. And so we want the real education system to come forth. And as all these systems have crashed, we're watching the end of the movie play out. And you've probably noticed that a lot of what we've been saying is starting to pop up into mainstream news too, especially for the likes of Jesse Waters and others. That is our proof and evidence that we're at the end, because at the end, we're going to have the crescendo of all those fear events. The financial collapse is imminent, the RV's imminent, the revaluation of currencies all around the world are imminent. And I believe actually that started on May 1st in Brazil. Mark Z hasn't said that. He and Charlie Ward were there, and I think they were there to witness the start of the RV. And it's working its way to us from east to west is what we've been told, and Israel will be safe for last. We're also, ready and watching for King Charles' death to be announced and some other key factors and markers. Yet it is coming. And as you piece together the information today, aloha, Canadians. We're so happy to see you. Happy Mother's Day, Tammy. So grateful. Hey, and if you're having any challenges with Discord, or you're new to Discord and you want to learn how to navigate it, just write your notes to me inside the Discord channel, and Allison or me or somebody else in there can help you to learn how to navigate Discord. We can come on there and talk to you in our real voices and help you maneuver this incredible platform, which is where I can also do some great teachable moments, because I want to teach CPR in there as well. Context, purpose, and results. That's a tool I've used for 27 years before I create anything. And so yesterday I created a CPR for the Discord channel, the energy, the vibe, and the intention of it. So I'll be sharing some more on CPRs and how that helps you to get clear on your intentions. Rather than setting a goal with a date, the RV, of course, is confirmation that, we can't go by dates of anything. It's in spiritual time. It's in divine time. And yet when you have a clear context and an energy of love behind it, it's coming from your heart, then you can co-create your heart's desires. I mean, I have been waiting 35 years for this, right? So, dreams they're like burning desires in your heart and soul, and you just can't let go of them. And that doesn't mean you cling to it, you live your life, and yet you know that your purpose is to step forward into your God-given innate gifts that you were born with. You have these within you. So when you find out what your dreams and passions are, and you align with people who've done the inner work, that can be your new leaders, like Jeremy or Phil or me or whoever you choose to, whoever you resonate the most with, then when this all comes down, you'll want to follow those leaders, because they'll have more preparation and education for you as well. As we move into our humanitarian projects and what we're going to do with the Great Jubilee and the Sara Jasara and the foreign currencies, this is the flooding the wealth, bringing it back to we the people and taking it out of the hands of the cabal. And it's so wonderful to hear how many people have gotten out of their 401ks and IRAs and put it in gold-backed funds. And that really helps and is wonderful, because we didn't have that option when the 401ks were rolled out. When was it? In the early 90s? I remember that Vanguard portfolio. Well, all those corporations are done. They're toast. Everybody is just waiting for the big announcements to come through. So we're all on one page. And you can imagine how terrifying and scary that will be for the people who have just not been open to listening to you up until that moment. Who am I? I'm just a mom, just a grandma, just somebody who happened to, have different experiences. Same with Allison. She's bringing her life experiences here. And together we're all co-creating a world where we have freedom, sovereignty, and peace. No more wars. And this has been my thought since a child. Some of us have had these thoughts since we were really young. Why is there war? Why would people kill each other? Why do we fund war? Why do we fund wars over our own country? Well, we have some great videos coming up. And so first of all, we're going to go into talking about health. And Allison has some videos to kick us off with that conversation. What's going down? We've been saying COVID is about to make the news, and here it is. Here are the big pharma people and what's going on with them. Hit it, Allison.
Canada is throwing away almost all of its AstraZeneca vaccines, which have expired because nobody wanted them in the country or abroad. Canada initially bought 20 million doses of the vaccine, but after concerns spread about a rare but fatal blood clot from it, only 2.3 million Canadians received a dose, and 13.6 million doses have expired. Canada initially pledged to donate the rest of the supply, but were only able to donate 4.8 million doses as the rest were not accepted.
I thought you Canadians would like to see that. We love you. And whenever I have an opportunity to share something that's directed towards you, it makes my heart smile because you guys are always up there going, when are we going to see something happening? When are we going to see the fake Trudeau removed from office? It's coming, publicly being removed. So that's going to be amazing. And now, with the AstraZeneca making headline news, we have another video for you. So let's watch.
The AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is being withdrawn worldwide after the pharmaceutical giant admitted it causes a rare and dangerous side effect. AstraZeneca admitted the claims in court documents lodged in February. Parent company Vaxzevria has come under intense scrutiny in recent months over a rare side effect which causes blood clots and low blood platelet counts. AstraZeneca told the court that it can, in very rare cases, cause clots in the kidney.
Okay, so this is really big for me because I have been on Facebook for many years, and I was witnessing friends, families, people who knew people who died suddenly from rare, unusual brain blood clots. Now, this is really hard for people to swallow, and they may not believe it yet. However, I have seen many people suffer and die from this personally in my community. It's a fact. And they had it. It happened after those shots. Some people were getting the shot and dying within hours afterwards. So please, I am not a medical expert. However, I probably have more training in nutrition than the doctors do. I think they get a couple hours. This was a bio weapon. It was a pandemic. They wanted to reduce the population to 500 million. If you can't see that yet, then you need to take the cotton out of your ears and stick it in your mouth and save yourself from these clot shots. And this next one coming up, the F-bomb was part of the language that I grew up with. So, I don't use it on the show because I respect our audience and there may be children watching. So this next one, please clear the room of the children if you don't want them to hear an F-bomb. And yet sometimes it is only, people, that word has different meaning for some people, and some people take it very personally when it's shared and used. And yet, please don't take this personally that we use this. However, some people just make the point so well that we want to show the video, and this is one of them.
Stop scrolling and pay attention. This is really important. So guys, those of you that have been awake for the last 3 or 4 years and know what's been going on, you're going to want to see this, because this is a massive W for all of us that have been spreading the information, the cover up and all the truth that's being hidden through mainstream media and things like that. Now, for the rest of you, I need you to pay attention for a minute, okay? Because you may have labeled us all conspiracy theorists and said we were all fucking crazy and losing our mind and we were making shit up. But now something major has just happened. Now I'm going to show you a clip in a second, so stay with me, right? What you don't realize is for the last 4 years, there's been a battle going on behind the scenes, a spiritual war, if you like, between people that have awakened to the scams and the lies and the bullshit and the corruption. Now, I'm not going to go into it all because your head's going to be spinning when it all hits the mainstream, which is just about to do. But what you need to know is that you've been lied to, okay? I'm not going to tell you what about, okay? I'm going to let you make your own minds up about that. But the World Health Organization, the organization behind the management of the entire pandemic and everything that's happened since then to do with health, to do with medicines, to do with related to it all, has all been managed by the World Health Organization. Now, the World Health Council have just delivered 4 letters of cease and desist for all COVID-related actions within the World Health Organization. What this means is they've got evidence to suggest that there's something big, something that we've all been lied to throughout the pandemic about to come out in a big fucking way. Okay, now just watch this really quickly. I need you to see this clip.
Hello, this is Thurs speaking. This is Monday, 6th of May 2024, just right after lunchtime. This is to confirm to the World Council for Health that I've just delivered to the World Health Organization here in Geneva headquarters to a person, to an official from the General Secretary, a series of 4 letters. The letters were addressed to Dr. Tedros, Director General of the WHO, to Janet Diaz, COVID-19 Clinical Management Lead, to Jeremy Farrar, Chief Scientist of the WHO, and to Maria von Kerkhove, COVID-19 Technical Lead. These 4 letters were notice upon harm and to cease and desist. All of them dated today, 6th May 2024. They are now in the offices of the General Secretariat of the World Health Organization. So this is just to confirm delivery by Philip Kruse on 6th of May 2024. Best wishes to the World Council for Health, in particular to Tess Laurie, who has entrusted me on the basis of an official power of attorney with the delivery of this letter.
Now, listen, if this is all news to you and you're just finding this out for the first time and you're wondering what the fuck is going on, just be very cautious about what you put in your body for the moment, for the time being, right? And just wait. Just wait. That's all I'm saying to you. I beg you, please, do not go and get any more medicines related to what we've just gone through until the mainstream media start talking about that video. Because it is highly important that you understand how much has been covered up and how much you've been lied to. It's vitally important that you understand that all this time, we weren't trying to mock you for being thick or for being easily led. We were trying to help you. We were trying to help save lives. And we've all been trying to help save lives. And everything that we talk about, whether it's true or not, is purely come from a place in the heart that cares about other human beings, other living people. Okay? Now, those of you that have been spreading the truth and exposing all of this shit, I just want you to take a minute and think about how this made you feel when you learned it all. How hard that journey was. These people that are just about to find out that their whole fucking world's been a lie are going to need us now more than ever. So as much as it fucking feels like we really want to laugh in their faces and say, ha, we told you so, don't do that. Treat people with empathy and compassion and kindness. Be understanding. Forgive them for all of the things that they may have said to you in the past. Just be there for them because they're going to need you. They're going to need everybody around them that they can get. Now we need to start standing together. Now we need to unite as people. We need to really start getting our shit together and standing up against this corruption and tyranny, because it's not just one organization involved here. Every big corporation on the planet was aware of this. Every single big corporation on the planet. Your sports clothes producers, your drinks producers, your food producers, your tobacco producers, all of them. All of the pharmacy companies, all of the doctors and nurses that were given orders would have questioned them and found out why, and some of them stayed, but a good 40% of them resigned at the start of the pandemic. And there's a reason for that. You weren't told about it, but it will come out, believe me. You're about to be brought right up to speed in a big fucking way. So start paying attention. I don't normally say this, but watch your televisions. Watch your news channels and keep your eyes peeled, because this is going to become a hot topic real fucking fast. I promise. Guys, we're all in this together. We got to treat each other with humility, with respect, with kindness. And if you can't do that, then get the fuck out of the way and let everybody that can unite together. We need to stand against this in a big way, because it won't stop until we're there. Please share it. Please repost it. Get it out there. Let everybody know we've took a big W. Big win today. Massive win. This is going to royally fuck their plans up for the pandemic treaty this month. Cease and desist, baby. The ball's in our court.
Woo, 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 woo. Staying alive, staying alive. Woo, woo, woo. Oh my goodness, isn't this great? This is the final end game, full exposure, and it is in the mainstream news if anybody dares to look for it. So congratulations, that man did a great job, didn't he? Yay! And it just makes me want to do that happy dance because I've cried too many tears, and maybe you have too, concerned that your loved ones were going and getting these shots. And we tried to tell you, we tried, and you shut us down, and we still love you. We don't blame you. We do have compassion. I do. Many others may not. And Allison and I are 100% behind you because this wasn't your fault. This is when being a victim is truly, you were victimized through all the propaganda, and it's done. It's over. No more shots. And please don't fall for it when you hear Pfizer saying, oh, we have the great cancer shot. You need to get it because it's a blockbuster, which means to me, code for we're going to make a bunch of money off of you people. So have no fear. Nutrition is here. That's all you need. Everything else is fear porn, and we don't like it. Now, I want to give a hats off to my husband because when this all went down and I found the Q movement immediately, my husband was digging into the health truth with Dr. Mercola and my mentor, Christiane Northrup, and Dr. Tenpenny and Judy Mikovits and all the others, Del Bigtree. There were so many people who knew that their mission was to get that information out to us as soon as we could so we could believe, not only our intuition, trusting our intuition, but we could see that the medical professionals who we trusted, who may have given their medical license back, like Chris Northrup, that they were exposing all the truth for us to know that we were on the right track. So with this next coming video, it was sent to me from my husband. Allison, I don't see that in the back office. It's up. Do you have that one from my hubby? It was a brief, short one.
I do. I have it ready, but I thought we were talking about Mark Z and you were dancing, and I thought that was it, the next one. My apologies. I got it ready.
That's okay.
Let me get it for you, and we'll put it right up.
So this video is something he sent over to me this morning, and he said, it won't take long to watch this. It's very short. And I thought it was really adorable that he came to me and shared that with me because I don't even think he watches this show. So hit it, Allison.
We actually fund ourselves and then work out what dividend is needed to pay. So we kind of it's a great business to be in, central banking. Print money and people believe it, and
they literally laugh at us. A 1% minority, these global elites that have found a way to infiltrate nations around the world, to create central banking operations that allow them to print this piece of paper physically and digitally into oblivion, thus reducing our buying power. Therefore, prices are up. The middle class is being abolished. You have first world countries becoming third world. You have wars that are being funded by both sides of the party. You have fractional reserve banking where they take your money on deposit, lend it back out, and make money off of it. You have political insider trading. You have influence from lobbyists in bills and senates and all sorts of things that are getting passed without our consent, unconstitutional bylaws, all sorts of broken infrastructures. And if you think this is bad, you're right. And if you think that's a problem, you're right. And if you think this is accidental, that's where we're wrong. It's all designed and set up this way to make us tired, to make us stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, living in fear, stress, and anxiety, to not be able to think clearly, to question the very powers that have been in place for so long. It's time to rise up and share and speak out. When will it end?
They laughed at us. They're laughing at us all the way to the bank. Us good slaves, programmed, take orders from the government and the WHO. Yes, sir. No, thank you. That snake's head has been decapitated. It is done. Everything from here on out is exposure, and it is coming in fast. You know, we get very little sleep. Those of us who are digging and watching takes a lot of time. And that's why we really welcome you over to Discord. And you can email me if you'd like to join our Discord at nancy@nancykerner.com. I want to be protective of this environment before all these people start flooding into the alternative news media. We do need volunteers who are well versed in Discord. If you're watching, we could use a little help getting people set up. And I'm not in the Facebook messengers anymore. I'm trying to enroll my community to come over to Discord because I can't keep jumping around to all the different platforms. There's way too many now. We used to have simple choices, and now there's a plethora of options, you know, like Telegram. And so my Telegram channel is simply intel and drops and updates. It's not very much conversation. That doesn't mean you can't come on there and chat with me. I do watch Telegram closely. However, we'd love to have you in the Discord. And I wrote my CPR at the hairdresser yesterday. I said, do you have a pen and paper while I'm sitting here with hair dye on my hair? Yeah, I know. A lot of people say don't use hair dye, use, go natural. And I'm just not ready yet because this is just, it's like whether you wear makeup or not, personal choices. And so with this, having said that, I know that a lot of you are wondering what's going on with the RV. And so when I was watching this show, I put up a post because Mark was talking about the Bee Gees. And so I made a comment, and then he did this, and Allison's going to share that with us.
We're staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, all right. We all know those. It was good stuff.
I couldn't resist, Mark. We love you so much, and we really trust your heart. And so now we're going to have Mark give an update on a banking story. You may have seen this traveling around. I posted it yesterday, and so I was really happy to see that he's confirming this bank story.
I went to BOA to close an account yesterday. I signed in with the hostess, sat down and waited, casually looking around at the offices, taking note of the offices and personnel while I waited. A banker, their loan officer, finished up with the customer, came out of his office and asked the hostess what I needed. She told him I wanted to close an account. I piped up and said something super simple. He's like, you don't want to sign up for a loan or a line of credit? I said, not until the currencies revalue will I be doing anything. He said, without skipping a beat, looked at me and said, June, why don't you go into my office and I'll be right in. Holy poop. So, well, okay, that's not really what it says there. I'm just, I put enough in the swear jar yesterday. So I walked in and sat down like, what the heck is happening right now? Sweet. I told him, quite impressive, that instant reply. He knew about the RV, the foreign currency trainings, what's happening in the markets, knew who other truthers were. A lot more information on just what we are expecting. You could tell he was just as enamored with our conversation as I was. It was super cool. I bet. So awake, aware, training.
Okay, so I went into my Wells Fargo bank yesterday and they were still clueless in Central Washington. It's just a matter of time. And if you listen to Bruce's Big Call or Wolverine or Frank 27, I think it's 27 or 24, Bud knows. I just want to say that, they keep saying that this is our week. How many times have we heard that before? Yet what Mark says is watch the macro economics. Then he also said that he won't go Thursday, which is today, or tomorrow. So what does that leave us? If it's going this week, it leaves us Saturday. And if it doesn't come in Saturday, then we're in for the next week. So if that person sharing the banking story is saying June, if that banker is saying June, and Mark's saying his contacts say this needs to be wrapped up in May, this needs to happen in May. As I like to say, we go with the flow. We don't get fixated on any dates because we don't know. And if Mark Z is telling you how many contacts he has that are confirming that is happening, and to please read between the lines, because if he says anything, then he could jeopardize his contacts of being taken out of the exchange process. Because like Trump always says, we don't reveal the plan to the enemy. The art of war is not letting them know that we've already taken down, well, at least not coming out with it until it is done. They clean up, they complete it, they get it done, and then we can go. So trust that this is in the best interest for Mark and others to not be able to say exactly what's going on. It is happening. I trust that. I feel it in my heart, my body, and my soul. What a great Mother's Day that would be to get your notifications if you're waiting for that foreign exchange note, whatever. However the process goes, whether it's through an 800 number, an email, or for our gurus, that's what they're called, like Mark Z, then they will announce. And Mark has told us that he will be there to help us as we move through this as best as he can. So all of us are personally, I'm just trusting the process. That's what we learn in recovery. Trust the process and do what you can do to sweep your own porch and to prepare yourself for this, because it will be the greatest collapse in economic history worldwide. We've never seen anything like this before. And so they're landing the plane as gently as they can because they love and care about humanity. Not so much with the central banking cabals that have been in power for hundreds of years and taken over the United States Federal Reserve, and they created the fake RS, the Federal Reserve is fake. All of that is fake, fraudulent, and not what we're about today. So as they merge the timeline to coincide with everything coming out at once, this is what's happened. Drip, 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 flood. We're in the flood of information right now. And I trust that everyone will be just fine. And it's also a great opportunity to ask for help. If you're in need of help, ask your friends, your family, and neighbors and community. And if you don't have friends and family and community, that's why I'm wanting you to join us in the Discord so that you can be part of a community. You don't have to go through this alone, afraid, and suppressed. You can share what is going on for you. And we do ask that you come in with your heart. The ego is going to be in fear and lack and negativity or urgency of anger, of crisis. And so just take a breath before coming in, get centered in your heart, and bring your heart in, your honest to goodness heart. Intimacy is into me, you see. And so that's what we will have. We will have an intimate community. It will be with the divine feminine at the helm. And then we can help educate one another on how to navigate through your relationships and your plans and your CPR and your dreams, because that energy of thought, everything begins with a thought, and that's energy. So whatever thoughts you're holding in your mind are expressed in time. And that's why powerful, prosperous people are raising their consciousness. And many people have found that having a spiritual connection to God, to Source, to Jesus, to whatever feels like a fit. And I've said this before, it began with me just saying my higher power, because I wasn't taught and educated on God's source. So with that, I think Allison has something up. I've kind of lost my place. It might be Brandon. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger to see that. So this is the new financial system, and it's been running and they were on it in many ways. The SWIFT system, it's not there. I mean, have you noticed how quickly your money is transferred through Zelle? It's instant. So it's just a matter of making that public switch. And so this is the new financial system. We have GESARA at the top there, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. We have the Q Alliance, that's the US military white hats. And so you can just follow this. You might want to take a screenshot if you don't have this yet. And then on the left side, you can see the constitutional law, Department of Forgiveness, Tesla patents, MedBeds, Project Odin, rainbow currencies, bonds, commodities, etc., are on the left. Now, see that GESARA at the top there, that purple? Go right down to that. When NESARA happens, this QFS is going to trickle down the ISO 20022. That is, the banks have to be compliant. They have to be ISO 20022 compliant, or they're going to go down. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the banks that are going down, making headline news. So on the left, you have XRP, XLM, XDC, IOTA, Algo. I'm familiar with XRP and XLM because I own a little bit of that crypto. And XRP is gold-backed and XLM is silver-backed. That's the word on the street. And also on the right side of that Q at the top, you have the Q phones and Starlink. And they're connecting the Stellar blockchain, Stellar wallet, digital currencies. And then directly under the Q, you see the Stellar network, RV in blue, revaluation of world currencies. Why? Because they were all owned by the central banking systems. They have to be traded in and taken out of the systems and replaced with the USTN note in the United States Treasury notes that will have gold with, connected to gold. You have something that will actually back your money, because inflation happens simple. There's nothing backing the dollar. And you will get rid of inflation instantly when we go to the GCR, the global reset, the gold standard. And on the RV side, the dinar, the dong, the zim, the agro, all of those currencies that people are holding, and the white dragon family. There's trillions of dollars that are being backed and funded by the Chinese elders through all of the executive orders, all the properties, all of their money. These people, the cabal, have taken trillions of dollars from us. And that's why you're going to receive it no matter what country you're in. You will receive NESARA at the national level of your country and GESARA at the global level. So if the Canadians are doing it, that's their NESARA. And we call it their GESARA. But anyways, it's very simple. It's going to make living simple again, with prices going back hopefully to about the 1970s. And there was a great discussion on Mark Z today with Codeman, and he was saying that he doesn't know how to answer the question for people who want to just go out and buy their dream home or their a dream farm, or in my case, retreat home. So this is going to level the playing field for everybody who is sick and tired of being sick and tired of working to pay taxes. They're illegal, and it's done. We're not doing it anymore. It's very, very exciting to me. Okay, Miss Allison. Oh, she has Biden attacking gold? No. I'm sure you've heard about Biden's reckless inflation, his plan to raise taxes, his alleged corruption, his troubled son Hunter, and how he's putting our economy at risk. Yes, But you probably haven't heard much about Biden's war on gold. First, he targeted Nicaragua's gold industry. Then he banned Russia's gold imports. Then he blocked the Pebble gold mine in Alaska. All the while, central banks and governments across the world have been stockpiling the shiny yellow metal. Why is that? Is there something we're all missing? Yeah, they're trying to fight. They're trying to survive. And they're not. There's no way. They won't make it because of us. And silver is back up again. You know, it's been doing a little wonky donkey. Folks, if you can afford $30 for an ounce of gold, get as many, in my humble opinion and suggestion, get as many of those little silver ounces. You know, who knows? We may need to barter with a little bit of gold, of silver. I kind of don't think so. Yet, you know, be prepared. And I believe that silver is going to go up, match gold's price, and perhaps even surpass it. It is a limited supply compared to gold, and it's used in all of our technology, you know, our televisions, our computers, our phones, and it's also used in weapons. Well, hopefully that won't be happening anymore when we have peace on earth. And some people are really holding that we would have 1,000 years of peace. Can you get behind that vision? I can. That's our natural state of being before we were taken over. And there's going to be much revealed to us in our future about our history, about our past, and who's really running the world. And it's going to be pretty mind expanding for those of you who aren't in the know of that history and that's being exposed. We don't cover a lot of it because I feel like it's more important for us to cover what's happening right now in this sector. And someone who I like to play is very fun, Patriot Princess, and she has a little video we can watch next. Thank you, Allison.
Did you hear it?
And then you have somebody like Nikki Haley comes along, and she's very much sort of a politician from central casting, and she's very much sort of a politician from central casting.
Drip, drip, drip.
And I just don't know which Nikki Haley is going to show up every day. She's a different person.
I see my generals are going to keep us so safe. They're going to have a lot of problems the other side. They're going to look at a couple of them. These are central casting. If I'm doing a movie, I pick you, General.
Drip, drip, drip.
Patriot Princess.
Okay, so Central Casting. I've been hired by Central Casting in a Ben Affleck movie. And who's that? Charlie Hunnam. Got to meet those gentlemen. Woof, pretty exciting. It was a dream for me in Oahu. My friend worked for Central Casting and her own part with another partner who has does all the hiring of the local people for local movies that are there. The movie sucked. Can't even remember the name of it. It wasn't a very good movie. But being, you know, within a few feet from Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, the motorcycle movie, because I ride Harleys, and I think it was really fun. So here we have a note, and it says, remember, you are watching a movie. Central Casting, no fear. True reality. Everything is staged. Special ops have been in control since JFK. As the timing of the operation comes to a climax, you will see its fireworks at the end of 3D ceases. That means third dimensional thinking. You haven't transcended into different realms of consciousness, 4D, 5D. So when you have a spiritual awakening, you get shot up into the fourth and fifth dimensions, and I've personally experienced that. So you will, okay, we already said that. Yeah, and the beginning of the fifth dimension. Whoops, pardon me. Fifth dimension, two worlds collide, one left standing, all nations united in harmony. We move forward into the new world. Are you ready to move into the new world together? I sure am. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we have this gentleman who I think it's JD who's up next. And yeah.
Wrong. I'm wrong. Just going to let you know. I'm wrong. It's not JP yet. We still have a little more on our financial. I skipped over. My apologies, but we're going to get it going on now.
You're so sexy.
Yes, I am. This is Biden's economic policy advice. So here we go.
Thank you.
Get that together for you.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about.
So what's really funny is when you look at his history and his education, it's not in economics. I think it's psychology. We don't even have a real economist there. Mark Z would do a heck of a good job, don't you think? Okay, so we're going to move ahead and continue on our financial block here. I love this guy. He does a great job.
This is the most recent secret window from the USDebtClock.org X account. The date that was posted on was May 5th, 2024 at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in this image, it shows us the fiat money reckoning, where we need to cross out the United States Federal Reserve System because the Federal Reserve System is actually ran by fake assets that are actually controlled by these guys right here.
It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati.
So what are bills, notes, and bonds? A treasury bill, also known as a T-bill, maturity ranges from a few days to a year. They are sold at a discount from their face value and are redeemed at full face value at maturity, with the difference representing the investor's return. T-bills are issued through regular auctions conducted by the government. A note maturity ranges anywhere from 2 years to 10 years. Treasury notes pay semi-annual interest payment to bondholders based on a fixed coupon rate established on issuance, which are sold off through auctions conducted by the government, with investors bidding on the interest rates as they are willing to accept for the notes. And similar to a note, we have a bond. The only difference is that its maturity ranges from 10 years to 30 years. These are the rates of return on those products. And if you notice, let's just say, for example, the 1 month maturity is right around, 5.5%. And if you go to like the 2 year, it's at like a 4.82%. And you go to a 30 year, which is a 4.64%. Yes, you heard me right. You get a larger return on a 1 month T-bill than you do a 2-year note or a 30-year bond. This is why it's important to pay attention to the 2-year and the 10-year yield, because once they curve, that actually indicates that we're embarking upon a recession. So when an investor is investing into one of these T-bills, these notes, or these bonds, they're actually hoping for a return on investment, kind of similar to a
Ponzi, but it's all a Ponzi. The dollar's Ponzi, Bitcoin is a Ponzi, everything's a Ponzi. Why? Because you're reliant on hoping that the next guy will buy it off of you for a little bit more than you bought it for. And if somebody buys it off of you for less than you bought it for, then you get upset. You say, shit, it's not worth that much. So it's all intrinsic. It's all a Ponzi. It's a Ponzi based off of what? Good faith and trust.
And we need to move away from that legacy system and go into a new system, the system of the USA Department of Treasury 1776. And that system is actually backed up by real assets. Just imagine having a new currency that's actually backed up by real world assets, such as gold, silver, copper, natural gas, oil, the equities market, agriculture, real estate, natural resource extraction, and new energy, where we don't have to worry about inflation or the manipulation of the value. It's verifiable. It has a limited supply because of the resources that it's backed up by. Sounds pretty biblical, right? As we are changing the money handler. Shout out to Doug over on X for pointing this out, as he mentioned reckoning equal to calculating something to bring it to justice. The fiat money calculate XRP moon time, XRP adoption is breaking the rules. Age of Aquarius, World War III, quantum leap, unstoppable. Looking glass, thank you God. For the people, 10,000. Reckoning calculate, bridge of gold. Knowledge, don't panic. Doomsday, XRP gold, fake assets, bill, note, bond. Calculate. The eagle is ready. Money in the bank, Galactic Federation of Light. Money, wealth, success. US supercomputer. Ask and you shall receive. Collapse the economy, X. Revelation 17. Matrix is proof of God. Financial prosperity, the 7 trumpets. All humans wake up now. Real assets, gold, silver, copper, natural gas, oil, equity markets, agriculture, real estate, natural resource extraction, and new energy. Calculate. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Corporations are in bed with the US military. The fake pandemic had many military overtones reflecting their united front of propaganda. Well, at least we made a huge quantum progress last night in tipping the scales to the truth of the primordial creator, thank you God. Bankers are thieves in modern costumes and hint that they are cosmic terrorists and their families and supporters will be wiped out soon. There is much joy in the world, and you are a part of the future joy. Once you clear your mind of the past, please know I love you so. Information is really flowing fast on this gematria, and even if the information is random, it will eventually make sense to plenty. This is why it's so important to know what you hold. Let's go.
Let's go. All those gematria decodes into the numbers. Every letter of the alphabet has a number. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Go through the alphabet. It's a wonderful tool to be able to find out what's going on through the help of our Anons. And as you know, I'm a fan of Jeremy and the Anons in his Patriots Rising Telegram group. I can't keep up with it, just like many really good groups. Yet what they do is they do the hard work for those of us who don't have the time to be able to decode what is being posted. And so the timestamps matter, and the number that they come up with in gematria matters because we're giving clues from the military about what is happening behind the scenes and where we're at. So it looks like it's go time. Sure enough, we're right on the cusp of all of this going down. And it's going to be devastating for those people who aren't aware and awake. And yet, the plane will be landed, as I said, and everyone's, with as little loss of life as possible. Now, we all need to be responsible for ourselves and getting prepared emotionally, financially, with food, with gas, all that stuff. And I don't see a fear of having your heat cut off or the gasoline going away or anything like that. We're going to be able to function. We just might not have internet through the interim while we're receiving the EAS, the announcements that we need to listen to for a few days. And this is, when that happens, then everybody will have the same message. MSM will either be down or reporting the truth too. All devices will be receiving this. So it's important to make sure that your alerts are activated on your phone so that you do get, I don't think that's going to matter. I think that they can control it, whether you have opted in for announcements or not. It does not matter. One of the things that we've been watching and witnessing are all the whistleblowers coming forward. And yet with Boeing, remember Phil told us well over a year ago, I think, that Boeing planes would be grounded. And we're like, really? When's that going to happen? So we were watching and watching. Well, now everybody has seen that the quality control of the Boeing jets, and some of them specifically, are very dangerous. And I want to just say something about JP. If you haven't seen any of his hilarious videos, he just goes out of his way to dress up and to say all the things that people are afraid to say. Now, he was more kind of left-leaning. He's kind of like me, probably more like independent thinker. And he has now come out and said, I don't know, 6 to 8 months ago, he says, you know what? I really wasn't in the, kind of Christian mindset. He says, yet what I'm seeing is that the Christians who have been part of, this years of preparing for the global reset, etc., were actually making a lot more sense than his friends and the people that he knew who were plugged into the mainstream media and listening to everything they said. So I really give a great hat tip to JP for the work that he does to expose things. And he does it with humor. And I thank God we have comedians coming back out. Real quick before we go to JP, while this thought just popped in my head, last night I stayed up very late watching The GOAT, Tom Brady, on Netflix. And yes, they were waking people up there. It was surprisingly really well done. And it was more like a Trump theatrical event and really great producers behind it. And then at the end, when the credits rolled, I noticed that Tom Brady actually produced the event. And he has just gotten, what is it, $370 million contract? I might not have the right numbers there. I'm just going by something that I saw. And he's going to be on a new broadcast around football, et cetera. And so, smart marketers like him and Trump and Phil, et cetera, they put out the information to bring people to their channels and platforms to watch them. So I think that Netflix roast of Tom Brady last night was preparing to bring Tom Brady, am I saying that right? Tom Brady back into the mainstream as somebody who will be a powerful voice. And who knows, are they exposing the NFL? I thought it was pretty. The line that I loved the most about that was when he got up at the end and spoke. And he said that, I don't know if it was Bill Belichick or Mr. Kraft, that somebody was saying, oh, we had to spend like $20 million to get to the truth about whether Tom Brady had anything to do with deflating the football. And Tom says last night, he says, $20 million, all you would have had to do is give me the $20 million And I would tell you, yeah, I did it. It was like one of those mic drop moments. And so back to Jay, I encourage you to watch that if you haven't seen that. I mean, it's raunchy humor, but I can handle that. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're too sensitive, and that's all right. So let's have JP tell it like it is.
Sir, I've discovered a big issue with the airplane doors. They're being fastened to the plane with duct tape. All of us at Boeing are very saddened to hear the news of Dave's very untimely suicide. The coroner report says that Dave had repeatedly punched himself in the face, leaving massive bruising, and there were even signs indicating he had struggled to try to get away from himself. He then apparently took his own life with a gunshot wound to the head. And authorities have yet to find the gun, so he must have hit it. And I really mean this from my heart. Everyone at Boeing sends our condolences to Dave's family. Seriously. Sir, we've got to immediately stop production. The guys have been making the belly of the aircraft out of plywood. It's going to immediately come apart upon takeoff. Guys, you're never going to believe this. Today we received devastating news that Bert died from some kind of mysterious illness that caused all 4 of his limbs to detach from his body. His torso was found in a lake 3 miles from his limbs. Authorities are assuming he was trying to swim to the hospital for help, but it turns out he couldn't swim very well without any of his limbs. And all of us at Boeing are praying they can find that left leg of Bert's so his family can finally hit some closure. Sir, you're going to be glad I caught this. The mechanics have been building the airplanes with lawnmower engines. I thought you'd want to know. Steve was a good man, but apparently a troubled man. Am I right? I mean, taking his own life by cutting off all his fingers, hanging himself in a tree, then shooting himself in the back of the head. And how he could even do that without any fingers is quite honestly impressive. And I think that just speaks to his engineering expertise that is so important to us here at Boeing. Our thoughts certainly go out to Steve's family. And at Boeing, we like to say, quite frankly, they could have done better at seeing the warning signs of his troubles. Maybe if they had, Steve would still be with us today. You can't fasten wings to planes using paper clips. This one hurts. This one hurts. Authorities have ruled Kevin's death a suicide by car bombing. Sir, the whole team of mechanics has been replaced by fast food workers. It doesn't seem right. Guys, you're never going to believe what happened to Josh. He took his own life by strangling himself with an extension cord, stuffed his body into this suitcase, and left it in the middle of the woods.
With all the untimely deaths of these whistleblowers before they can testify, do you think there's any cause for suspicion?
No, we don't see any cause for suspicion.
None at all. Nothing to see here. Yes, as Allison put in the chat on Rumble, it's satire. We need to laugh again. Oh my goodness. And so I think Allison's ready for me to do the closing. But before that, Allison, you want to pop on here for a moment, please? Thank you so much, everybody. Give Allison much love for all the hours she puts in. She's doing a fantastic job, and people are starting to receive her beautiful thank yous, and they're so excited when they get them. They're so beautiful. And so did you have anything you wanted to say?
Just a very full, grateful heart to you, to Manson. Y'all are contributing to the cause as well, not just with your time, your love, and your energy, but you're donating too. Everybody's been amazing, and I am very grateful because as we get to the end of this, it's like little thin, and then as soon as I am, not sure what's going on, something else comes in. So thank you. Any amount is appreciated, and I thank you and Manson as well. I've never gotten to really say it publicly how much I appreciate you offering the $5 billion in Argo check for $25 or more. That was so gracious and generous. Thank you. Just lots of gratitude and excited for all that's going on.
Thank you, Allison. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. You're doing an amazing job. And I wish you could read all the comments from the people who are enjoying those videos that you put out. Last night I was watching, I got almost all the way through it. It was the one on the mortgage Lehman Brothers. Yes. And the women whistleblowers who were coming out and being silenced and threatened and sexually harassed after they found that there were so many fraudulent loan applications. And so I need to finish watching that, but that one is really, really good.
I thought it was quite timely.
Yeah, right?
Awesome. Thank you.
And also Tara Reid was on Tucker doing an expose with him because she is, I think, hanging out in Russia. She's the one who accused Joe Biden of, sexual, I don't know what the name is. He cornered her in a hallway, and her case has not been brought out. They've silenced her. She's really struggling. And I hope she's able to return home soon to be with her daughter, who's actually graduating from college, and she can't be there because she was tipped off that her life was in danger because of her coming out. So please watch that Tucker Carlson interview with her. And there's so many whistleblowers, and it's time. It is time. So back to Allison. Oops. I still have some $5 billion left, and for every $25 you donate, it goes to Allison. After PayPal and all those fees are taken out, I send it directly to her. These, Mark Z has said, will be worth $1.6 million. So why not? Why not? If you can help feed Allison until we cross this finish line, I think we're going to be okay pretty soon, and every time I hold that up, I hope it's the last time, because the last thing that any of us wants to do is ask you for money. That is not what we're here for. We're here simply to help bring you the truth. That's the only reason we're here doing this. And yet, people need to eat, need to have a roof over their heads, and some of us might take that for granted. So if you can dig deep right now to help Allison cross the finish line with us, we really appreciate you, and we appreciate all your positive energy, and thank you to everyone who's contributed. It helped because we needed it, and we don't ask. If you don't ASK, you don't GET, and we're asking one last time, hopefully, so that we can move into the RV, and then money's not going to be an issue for people. In fact, I guess I'll go into my closing now. From my heart to your heart, I just hope you know how grateful we are. I'm grateful for the gift of life, the gift of love, friendships, and the Great Awakening. This is just beyond my own personal imagination. And yet, how many of us have had the intention that we would have world peace and felt so helpless around our government that we couldn't do anything about it? And yes, we have been doing the best that we can over these past 4 years to bring as much disclosure so that, pardon me, I thought I heard a knock, so that we can join our hearts, keep them open, grieve the pain and the loss of the lies and the people and the experiences that we've all been through. We know that a lot of you are hurting, and we want to comfort you with the knowledge that you're going to be okay. Hang in there, baby. We're with you. This intention of mine to see the prosperity playground realized, where everyone, not just the wealthy people, that everyone will have the funds through the Great Jubilee, through Nasara Jasara, through the RV, to be able to live your life in a way that you haven't seen in your lifetime. It's almost like we're starting all over with humanity, and what is going to be taught, what will be acceptable. And this past life up until now, and the way that the governments have controlled the people, and why people put their blind faith in the governments and trust them, and in the medical system or the education system. All the systems are done. They're toast. And it's not just wishful thinking. It's not just, yes, we're acting as metaphysicians to call this in. It is happening. We see it. We know it in our heart, mind, and soul. We know this is happening. And yet it takes a special person to take the cotton out of our ears and put it in our mouth and listen to others, listen to their wisdom. When I meet somebody who knows things that I don't, I surrender my ego and I take guidance. And that doesn't mean I trust everything they say. I use my intuitive intelligence system that's aligned with spirit. And I ask, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say, and to whom? Please, you steer, I'll pedal. And I've been pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. Do you feel the same? You're about ready for that new, electric bike. Get you up those tough hills. And you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone. And you can make that connection to God, to Source, to the God Source, whatever you call it is okay with me, because what I look for and what I feel is when I look into your eyes, is your heart open or closed? We're all humans. A lot of people think we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And can you imagine the amount of energy that we're going to see in the human resonance as people know the truth and are living in peace and freedom and harmony with one another, who are growing and expanding it from that 3D, third dimensional awareness into the fourth, which is the spiritual awakening, and fifth. There are different dimensions. People call them higher dimensions. There are multiple dimensions that we have access to. We access them through our dreams. We access through prayer, through meditation, through songs, through dancing, through laughing. And the heart, as you know, when you hug someone, you're exchanging energy. And that's why I say, from my heart to your heart, I want to exchange energy and send you energy and beam that over to you to let you know that all is well. It may not look like it in your current reality, and yet we're headed into a one reality where everyone will have the same knowledge and wisdom and power tools to create your new dreams. It's phenomenal. So all of our thoughts, remember, everything begins with a thought and a feeling. And when you feel it in your body, then you speak it into existence. Speak love into your existence. And yeah, some of us need to do some inner healing. Many of us, most of us do. Most of us are still walking around edgy and defensive and protecting our hearts because we don't want to be hurt. And our friends and family who haven't chosen to listen to us yet, they're just trying to protect themselves too. They don't want to be made out to be a fool. I've asked myself that many times. Will I regret doing these one day? Because once it's out there, it's out there. And yet, that's not the way it is in a spiritual life for me. I trust the moment, I trust my decisions, and I don't blame anybody. I am not a victim. Yes, we prepare ourselves. Yes, the Second Amendment is important to me and my family. And somebody asked me, how can you talk about not living in fear and then talk about having guns? And it's like, because I see how people abuse those who aren't protecting their family, their property, their possessions. It's no good. Oh my goodness, Rita, thank you so much. Wow. Just saw a donation pop in. I didn't see how much or anything. I just got the pop up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. You guys, this is what it's about. How many of you would love to give more and to receive love? That just landed in my heart. I'm so grateful I could cry because you take action. And so many of you want to give and you don't have the resources to give yet. That's okay. It's coming. And remember, it's reciprocal. So when somebody gives, accept it, let it land in your heart, and then give thanks and gratitude for that gift. Giving and receiving. This is how the life force works. When we give, no matter what it is, whether it's food or time, talent, or treasure, we receive the good vibes and feelings that have us grateful that we have something to give, something to offer. And I want to call all of you into the now and ask yourself, what are your innate gifts that you were born with? That's what innate means. You're born with them. What are your gifts? What are your skills? And this is a great opportunity to write down your dreams. I've been doing this for 35 years, writing my dreams down, putting up pictures on my refrigerator, watching them manifest, staying detached from the how, and being a metaphysician, knowing that your thoughts are connected in the morphogenic fields, in the ethers. And some people call the ethers, that energy in the field of resonance, the Holy Spirit. Whatever that is for you. If it's easier to just say love, that's how I started. I just want to love myself and not hate myself for, decisions of the past and how I behaved before I woke up. We all have a past, but that was so 10 minutes ago. And our point of power, 0 point, right here, right now, is in this divine sacred moment. So with that, I just want to say, create a beautiful day. If we have something to report, we will. And I love you. Allison loves you and appreciates you, and have a beautiful day. Aloha.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
November 22nd, 1963. A day that shook America. But what if history as we know it is not the true story of events? 104, JFK's journey beyond the grassy knoll unveils an untold chapter where resilience turns tragedy into a covert mission against unseen enemies. From the depths of seclusion, a fallen leader rises to challenge the deep state, shaping a legacy far beyond the limelight. Discover the hidden journey of a president who survived to fight from the shadows. Coming soon.
The things that make you happy, go do those things. Like right now. What are you waiting for? Go!
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com, on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the creator of the Wave Watch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. You've got to hear some testimonies from people just like you. I absolutely love this Wave Watch. It has helped me with occasional aches, cramps in my muscles. I twisted my knee a month ago, and the Wave Watch has helped tremendously with the pain while healing. And how about this one from Debbie in Colorado? My left leg was hurt bad enough that I would cry when walking to the doctor. Doctor appointments are $170, and chiropractic sessions were $45 many times for the last 2 years. My hands and neck are stiff. My leg quit throbbing within 5 minutes of the session for bursitis, and 2 hours later, still no pain. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the Wave Watch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease? It's the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. Wave Watch is not connected to the internet. There are no messy cords and patches. There's no monthly fee. It's very simple, easy self-care. And best of all, people are comparing it, saying it's like a med bed on your wrist.
To order your Wave Watch, go to wavewatch.com and be sure to use the discount code Nancy100 at checkout to receive $100 off your order today.